Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone is staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey, or at least you better be, because there is a tournament coming up. I am joined by Mitch, who is the TO of Hobart Hammer-On Grand Tournament, the first Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament held in Tasmania. Can't wait to go down myself. I'm heading over, which will be amazing. So let's get cracking on with this. First of all, Mitch, do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who I guess is not part of your local crew?
Yeah, thanks. Look, and it's a pleasure to be on as well, Luke, and I really appreciate you taking the time to show off some of the Tasmanian community. So I'm Mitch. I happen to be the, sucker that runs all the tournaments for Tasmania at this point. It's something that I've picked up in the last kind of year and really love building our community. So that's me.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess before we get started into anything, what got you to run the GT, like to take the step of like going from local events to actually putting on a big event?
Look, I think it was more just filling a gap. So there's a lot of interest to play the game in the community, and we had a few kind of one-day events tossed between 3 or 4 of us that run things, a couple of leagues, and just looked like a natural next step. And it was a great way to kind of ramp up involving Tassie in the bigger national scene. So I came out of Canberra where there's 30 to 40 people turning up on a regular basis for one day, and CanCon, home of the biggest tournament in the world, and it felt like a good moment to insert ourselves and say, come to Tassie. We're a cool place with cool lists, and we want to play games.
Yeah, no, certainly. I checked out my hotel and I'm pretty impressed. I'm staying at a resort next to the casino. I'm pretty happy with that. But
just don't burn out all your luck in the casino, right? That's all you got to do.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, welcome everyone who is watching, whether you are an attendee, a bystander in the Tasmanian wargaming community, or someone who's just watching and wants to see some lists. We're going to go through a couple of stats. Mitch has graciously organized some interesting stats for the event that we're going to go through, and then we'll hammer on through the lists. Pun completely intended there. And so, yeah, we'll get cracking on. First of all, I think there's a couple of things to say. We'll go on with, I guess, Mitch, do you want to give a shout out to all the companies that are sponsoring the event that have helped over the course?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's a whole wealth of people that have come on board to make this bigger and better than I could ever hope to. So in particular, Good Games Hobart, who are hosting the event and have also contributed to the prize pool. I have to have special mention to Terrainheim, who are designing the trophies. And I wish I had them here to show you, but they're still winging their way towards me. And they're, as I understand, a local SA guy to use. So, there's a nice little connection there. The dice guy in Queensland, who's produced a whole swath of different dice for us. Table War with Fat Mat. We get, not only do we have mats to play on now, we've got one to give away. Miniature Scenery for a whole pile of laser cut terrain, and Scale Modelers Supply, who is an Australian paint and brush manufacturer who I really like some of their stuff, and they've just branched into miniatures paint as well. So that's really cool to see. And of course, Battle Kiwi. So and there's a few other surprises to come along as we get to the tournament on the day that you have to be there for, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I want to give my little shout out quickly. First of all, for the Hobart community for having me over there. I'm going to be there for a couple of extra days. So I've actually organised some time to come and film some battle reports for the local community, to get them up on the channel, give members of the local community a chance to come and play and say they beat me on the channel, as most people do. And so I've still got some open space on the Friday before the event and the Tuesday after the event. So if you're wanting to have a game on either of those days against me, you're more than welcome. Contact me via social media in some way, or even comment on the video later, and we can organize something and get a game in. I've got a few lined up, which will be great. But with all that out the way, well, let's start going into some of the stats, I guess. So we've got the pie charts here of Grand Alliance and factions. So first of all, Grand Alliance order is dominating with almost 50% of the thing. Pretty much what you expect, I guess. Does anything surprise you in, I guess, the overall thing?
Look, I think there's a bigger, slot of death than I would have expected for, 4 factions, and it's taking up a much bigger slot than usual. And there's not as much chaos as I would have expected. You know, if we're talking about at least what I've seen playing in Tassie, it feels like people have dug their order out for this event, or their death at least.
Awesome. So I would say there's probably a little bit less chaos than I would have thought, but the death doesn't surprise me too much when we take a look over at the army list. The armies, it's majority all Soulblight Gravelords. That doesn't surprise me as much.
No, and look, that order spreads there, but I mean, it's a huge representation across. We're not betting Swamp by Stormcast or Sylvaneth lists. They are a big chunk. But you're right, the Soulblight is by far the biggest representation for the entire tournament. But Two Blades of Corn is shocking as far as I'm concerned.
There's 2 Blades of Corn, which is awesome. I think what else? There's 2 Slaves to Darkness and Destruction. 3 Auric Warclans. I probably expect 1 Ogres. I'm surprised there's no Sons of Behemoth. They're normally pretty popular, at least they're probably the most second popular. But Order's got that good spread. There's not a lot of double ups in Order outside of, what have we got? 3 Stormcast, 2 Sylvaneth, and 2 Fire Slayers. Then the Daughters of Cain, KO, Lumineth, Seraphon. We've even got Skaven list, Feck, Nighthaunt, Bone Reapers. Every death faction is represented, which is really cool.
Yeah, and look, and I think that you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only Order faction we might be missing is Cities, off the top of my head.
Yeah, which is strange because people who watch the channel know that Cities is pretty much my go-to. But I wanted to paint up a new army for this, so it's probably
so you've let
on me.
The team down, Luke. That's what you're saying.
Well, if I didn't play the army I'm playing and I'm painting up, which everyone will see soon enough, that wouldn't be there either.
Yeah, fair enough.
So hint, I'm one of the ones that only has a player. But allegiance-wise, then you've also gone in and broke down the sub-factions down here. Obviously, Chaos, Blades of Corn, Reapers of Vengeance, and Goretide. I'm really excited to see a Goretide army. Reapers of Vengeance is what you expect to see from Blades of Corn army, I guess.
Look, it's probably the one, them and Bloodlords, Broodlords.
Yeah,
I can't think of the one off the top of my head. Is the 2 you expect to see in tournament play? But Goretide is close to my heart. It's normally what I play. So there you go. I'm throwing. Everyone knows my list. It's been on the Facebook page for weeks. Goretide's close to my heart. I think the thing that I found really interesting here, and I can't bury the lead because it's bright green, is that there's not double ups unless you're playing Castelli, and then and there's 3 of you, which
doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Once again, that does not surprise at all. But it's really cool. Like seeing the Stormcast are all 3 different Excelsior, Hammers of Sigmar, Hallowed Knights. What you expect, Nalroot and Harwood, which it sort of, I guess, really goes a long way to sort of stay how the meta is going at the moment as well, that you can play all these different things. Blood Gullet is probably what you expect for Ogres, either that or, it's either that or you're going the Beastclaw Raider side and you're going with Boulderhead.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing really surprised me. Hagnar for the Daughters of Cain one, Lofnir and Vostar for Fire Slayers, Zytrek. Zytrek's interesting. But yeah, Starborn, Seraphon, everything is really what... Idolaters is probably the other interesting one. I love that list, having a look at that.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we can't not mention that Skaven doesn't seem to go down the sub-allegiance path anymore, so that list still gets to stay in the bag until we scroll down to it as well, which will be good.
Yeah. All right. So you've also gone some points and wound drop stats. So this is some interesting stuff, I think. So we've got points over here where the vast majority of people have actually spent all their points or near enough all their points. It's probably two-thirds at least. I'm
not hugely surprised. Yeah, I think it is about it's almost close to 50% if you pull in that 1980 bracket, I think, off the top of my head. But awesome. I mean, I'm not hugely surprised. I think this is just a good indication of how armies are being pointed, or at least people are looking to fill those last point caps with endless spells or small units as well. The real reason I put this in is I just thought it was worth pointing out. Whoever's at 1950, you get an auto triumph for the entire weekend. Please don't forget it.
Triumphs win games, believe me.
Exactly.
Wounds is an interesting one as well. We're either really low or somewhere middling. There's not a lot of there's a few, but I think you're either at that middling sort of range or you are really low on wounds, which is interesting as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't delved into the list, but for what we've got in factions, there's not stuff that I would necessarily expect to see low wound points unless there's lots of monsters tucked into them or bigger units too. So it's an interesting swing.
Yeah, and then drops is the other interesting factor. I mean, this is always, something interesting, especially the one drop is definitely still there with 4 of them, and otherwise it's 9 drops at 4, which, I guess goes to that point of you find that median of once you hit that 6 or 7, you stop caring.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I found it interesting that there's 2 peaks, and I think a lot of that is people still experimenting with battalions outside of that one drop. There's still a nice spread of 2 drop lists as well. So obviously, one drop is inevitably the battle regiment. Yeah. And that median's useful. If you're over that 7 point, you're unlikely to be getting a choice after deployment through the weekend. That's the big number here. And as you go lower drops from there, you open up your options a bit more. But so there's someone playing 13 drops as well, which is just as exciting as interesting as 1 drop is, I think. Yeah,
because the only way they're ever going to get the choice is if never.
Someone gives it.
And the only way the 11 drop person ever gets the choice is if they play the 13 drop person.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's interesting too. You've only got one person. He's got one other person he can get a choice against.
And I have to lodge a complaint to the community for not getting someone with 12 drops. It really ruined the spread there.
I just realized that. That's perfect. Battalions. This is another thing. This was really interesting to me because obviously this is what the current GHB is all about. Bounty Hunters, Expert Conquerors. So you can see the lighter columns are no and the darker columns are yes. So more people are taking bounty hunters than not. So almost an extra, probably just over a third, not quite 50% on top, which is not surprising, the extra damage. I mean, why would you not? Especially if you already drops, you might as well throw some units in it.
Yeah, and I think this also feels, for some of those lists where I think that some of the battle line units or Galatian veterans don't have necessarily the output to compete. I think bounty hunters is a great way to pull them up a step. So Khorne's a great example. Putting blood reavers into bounty hunters makes them a bit more of a threat, particularly if you're going into harder battle line units than they are.
Without a doubt.
And then this is being useful.
Yeah, and then the opposite for Expert Conquerors, though. I think this has something to do with the battle plan you put in the book, you put in the pack. In fact,
I think so too. Yeah,
because you put in the battle plan where we get extra points for killing Galatian veterans. So there's a reason I think we're seeing less Expert Conquerors.
Yeah, and look, that might even result in the swing for bounty hunters as well, right? Because you could potentially pick up some extra points on killing Galatian vets and doing it for a battle tactic with a Galatian veteran, right? So there's a nice little double tap in that game at least. Yeah.
And then I think, here we go. So this is Grand Strategies and Triumphs. Take What's Theirs is by far the most popular and No Place for the Weak, not far after it. Take What's Theirs, that's having units in your enemy's deployment zone, correct?
Yes, that's right. And No Place for the Weak being dead battle line. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, you're trying to do this season anyway. I don't think anything here is too out of place for me. I think that's pretty much what I expect, the 2 most popular ones.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there's a really small spread of faction grand strategies, and I think a lot of them are so you'll have to correct me for the Fire Slayers, but I think Master of the Forge is just not explode your furnace from memory, but I could be wrong. It's quite
I think it's not explode and it can't get smashed.
Yeah. So, if you're in a position and you're doing well in the game, you're potentially getting that. So it's a great addition, much like why people bolt in Take What's Theirs as well, right? If you're doing well, you've probably scored your grand strategy as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because a lot of people don't like the grand strategies and battle tactics from books being included in events. But I honestly don't care. It's quite funny. The only battle tactics I've seen failed in the last couple of games I've actually played have been book ones, no, not the action. So it is what it is. Triumph-wise, no surprise there. Inspired is the one. The other ones really only come into it, I guess. Master. Okay, Christopher Moore is saying Master of the Forge is having an invocation on the table.
Okay, that's even easier, right? There's like a 3+ invocation at the
so unless your opponent's running a priest,
it's going to happen.
There's nothing
to
do about.
Absolutely. And I think Fire Slayers can buff up to like a 2+ with a reroll or something like that.
Yeah. So unless your opponent gets the last turn and has a priest, you can probably guarantee you getting it. Triumphs, nothing surprised me. Inspired plus one wound is the best one. I know I didn't go Inspired because the army I'm getting gets bonuses to wound pretty easily, so it's not something I needed, so I went with a rerollable charge. That's generally how it goes. And if you're an Alpha Strike Force, you generally do go with a reroll charge. Like Stormcast generally take it. And then, Battle Shock is good. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, it's not Skaven because we've got Arch Corruptors of the Mortal Realms up there. Maybe the Ogres probably have that, potentially.
Battle Shock, potentially. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. And obviously the none is because we've got quite a number of lists that flat 2,000 points. So, you can pick one, but you're not going to use it. So.
Yeah. This was also really cool. List content. So, first of all, I think you can most people can just read through that stuff. But out of the big guys in the tournament and big ladies, we see that there are 3 of, I guess, the big hitters. We've got Marathi, Archaon, and Kragnos all coming to the event. One of each, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, no double ups either. So, if we're talking gods that are walking around, we've left most of the elven gods behind, and apparently Nagash didn't want to come out of hiding
either. Someone's saying Godrak should be on the big list. Fair.
But he's not a god yet. Right. Yeah, 3 Kronspines, which for what I'm seeing in wider Australia, I'm actually surprised. I would have expected a few more.
6 Purple Suns is not surprising at all.
But it's still lower. Don't get me. For everyone watching at home, right? There's a Ren buff, and it's going to suck all those giant gods or Kronspines into the abyss. But 6 is still low for what I expected, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And then 2 Katos makes me so happy. Can't be happy enough that there's 2 Kato Ezekiyas in the...
No, exactly. We were talking about this but before the show kicked off. I think the thing for me after seeing 2 pop up was going back to the War Scroll and seeing it's actually for a 6 wound hero. He's got a surprising amount of durability. I mean, he packs a +1 to casting, but you can also make him move 14 inches in a turn. So you've got lots of little wiggle and extra buff that you're not necessarily picking up out of a normal Vampire Lord. So I think it's a nice addition.
Yeah, and someone's saying based on other events, you expect like half the event to be running Purple Sun. So yeah, it is pretty low. And this might be one of the last few events that actually has the sun maybe in its current incarnation. We are due for an update soon. So it is worth noting that the list have cut off. There's no rule changes. You've made that stance that armies are using the rules that were out last Sunday, and from there nothing else is applied. I guess unless you agree to something being an obvious FAQ.
And look, if I'm honest, I don't expect anything to change at this point. That we're in the quiet period for Games Workshop. I remember this last year. Everyone was chomping at the bit for a battle scroll or something. I don't think it rolled out until mid-November. So we're in the lull for AOS, at least at this point. I think I'm safe, but I'll probably wear that in another week's time when they change everything on
me. Yeah. Cool. So we're going to go into lists. We're going to breeze through this. We're hoping not to go longer than an hour-ish on the show. But let's check out the first list. And we have Anthony Quilty. Is it Quilty? I hope I'm getting your name right, buddy. I apologize now for anyone's name I butcher. But so this is the first of 3 Castelli Dynasty armies.
What do we get for Castelli? I feel like we're going to have to go through touch on briefly if we're going to cover them so much. It's
Castelli is the Castelli Keep, so this is the Blood Knight factions are the one that benefits all your vampires getting the extra abilities as they kill particular types of units.
Yeah, absolutely. And then not forgetting, of course, the Soul Blight double casting spells on 9s as well, which is certainly going to help a number of these armies as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. So this list, we got Prince Vordry in there, not surprising at all. He's gets all the benefits of Castello, which is cool because he's from Castello Keep, so he's got the actual Castello keyword. A Vengorian Lord, I absolutely love Vengorian Lords. I don't think I see enough of them. Like the debuff potential they bring to the table is great, and they're also not bad offensively.
No, and this one in particular, the way it's kitted up is going to potentially move really fast if it gets the spell off, and then just be a hard to mess with, sitting in the middle of your list problem. So
yeah, and speaking of fast, Cato with Amaranthine Orb, this could be a really interesting sort of use of him because he's got that 14-inch move that he flies with. An Amaranthine Orb, if I'm remembering correctly, that's the draw a line, isn't it? Spell.
Yes, it is, and then it's D3 mortals, I think, from memory, or number.
So he could potentially, get Cato in a good position, like flying around the side of the army and do a decent amount of mortals with him.
Yeah, look, the whole list has got a lot of really good model wound output. Like the Blood Knights are going to do, decent damage buffs on impact, and then being able to walk backwards out of combat while doing mortal wounds and going in again. It's just going to be this wave of vampires, right? Same with the
So this is a 1-drop list as well. It's a battle regiment. So everything here is 1-drop. I believe it's 1-drop. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. 10 Blood Knights, 5 Blood Knights. That 10 Blood Knight unit, that's 30 wounds. That could be on a 2-up save is insane. It's going to be a meaty unit. The second unit of Blood Knights, 10 Direwolves is really meaty as well. People underestimate how good Direwolves are, I think. For me, I almost like them better than both Skellies and Zombies. I think they're the best sort of wound for point you get.
Yeah, and the movement on them is nice as well, right? So it's a very fast-moving army. The Graveguard, we'll bring up the rear, but it's got lots of maneuverability as well. It's interesting that he has gone the 10s, not with the shields, for the better armor save on them. That would be my only thought, I guess. But other than that, a couple of endless spells in the Gnashing Jaws. Quicksilver Swords are really solid. I've not seen the Gnashing Jaws on the table too much. No, I think it's the swing because it's something that's like it moves 3d6 and then does mortals equivalent to the dice roll of its movement. So
yeah,
it could pop and do a whole lot, or could waddle its way across the board very slowly, doing not much too. It'll be good to see how it plays out.
Yeah. So Callum Lane, way too many Slan. I got excited when I first read this, and I'm like, "There's not enough Slan in this, buddy." I was thinking I was going to see 3 or 4 Slan, but no. So there's not enough Slan. We're going to change.
We'll have to change the name. Yeah,
not enough Slan. So no Triumph. I'm assuming he's a 2K list, but we have got a Starborn Seraphon list. The Astro Matrix, I'm pretty sure, is the Seraphon specific one. That's like that weird thing where you have to have a Slan on the middle of the table at the end of the game, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't, I think that's the one where you draw the cross and then you put the point in the table. And which isn't actually too hard to do with a Slan in Starborn because you just teleport them all there.
Exactly. That's a last turn bounce. I think the thing for me that I found, there's lots of overlapping rerolls here. So both of the Slans are packing rerolls, but there's also, as we get further into it, it's got cogs as well. But he's sitting on a +3 to cast, board wide.
Yeah, this thing's going to get magic off all the time and just do it at once.
Yeah. And I mean the 2 Skink Oracles as well. It looks like it's going to be a classic summoning list, right? So it's going to aim to try and get that summoning out as much as it can, because if this gets hit hard and loses a couple of pieces early, it's probably how you try and deal with it, I guess, as a list. But it's got some power in there. Slans aren't easy to just take off. And the fact that you've not got any, bar the Astrolith Bearer, there's not really any easy pick-off heroes. All of them require some at least average damage output. The Troglodons aren't particularly tough, but they're still
not like a 5-wound hero.
No, exactly. And the other thing that I think is really interesting is that, like, even for some of the support pieces that are just buffing for heals, like Engine of Gods, not only is it going to be hard to get rid of, but it flies now because it's got Cloak of Feathers. So, the whole army's going to move really fast. You've got that inbuilt teleport, and then you got because this is Fangs from memory, isn't it? Is it a Fangs of Sotex list as well?
Constellation Starborn, it doesn't say.
No, we'll have to check that one. I would imagine it's probably Fangs and is going to end up with that.
Yeah,
that
I would say
retreat and shoot from the
schemes
schemes as well.
Yeah. And this is a 5-drop list because it's got the command entourage giving him that second artifact.
Yep.
We then go to Callum Liston with KO, the only KO army, playing Barak Zilfin. Let's have a look at what we got here. So the Archanaut Admiral definitely taken a step up now.
Yep.
So awesome stuff. They really are solid buff pieces. If you're playing a KO army, this guy has to die really quick. They turn the other units on so much now.
Well, and the problem you've got there, Luke, is you say you got to kill the Archanaut Admiral quick, but if you notice attached to that chemist is the first spine of the night is the Cron spine. So you've got two headaches probably on 2 different sides of the board coming at you.
This is a cool list.
Yeah.
2 Ironclads and a Cron spine in there is insane. That's a really interesting like.
And both of those Ironclads are doing some version of charge, impact hits, or mortal wounds, right? So one's shooting its cannon on impact, and the other's doing mortals. So so
the last word shoots is like allows it to shoot, and Zombicorp Dealbreaker Battle Ram is the mortal wounds when it charges. Yeah, this is a nice KO list. Like, it's interesting because like all its power is here in these 3 models. 30 Archanaut Company really don't do an awful lot. But yeah.
And then, of course, you've got Rune of Petrification. I thought was really interesting as a choice. So it's mortal wound outputs, but I think this might be in here just to hold up the to subtract from charge and run rolls from your opponent. So once you
it's
get
100% in there to stop, like, to debuff more than it is to deal damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just going to slow you down a little bit, so you can't get into or away from the Cron spine. Just a little bit more board control, basically.
Yeah. Command Entourage, Magnificent, Expert Conquerors. These are all counting as 30 models on objectives. Cool. I really like this list. This is cool. 2 Ironclads and a Cron spine. It's going to be really fun to play against.
The Expert Conquerors are also counting as that while in the boats too. So there's a nice little wedge of models.
Yeah.
So that'll be hard to shift.
Go down to the next list. Chris Moore, I know he was in the chat before. He's bringing some Lofnir Fire Slayers. So Queens of the Fire Age. Love it. Love the name there. So we are running 3 Magma Drops, a Rune Father, and 2 Rune Sons. Really cool on the double Rune Son because they sort of get better as they try and compete for Daddy's love. The Rune Master, Rune Lord on foot, Rune Lord, so that's an ally. Cool.
I think he's got really cool prayer buff from memory. I think he's got +1 to prayers.
He can also get rid of endless spells on the table better, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Yeah.
Then we have 3 units of Auric Hearthguard, which are going to be in Expert Conquerors. And then we have a Bounty Hunter unit. I think he needs to put one of these units in a Bounty Hunters. 2 minimum for Bounty Hunters, I think.
No, so one of the Rune Sons from memory is in a Bounty Hunter.
Oh, yeah, because correct.
They're battle line in Lofnir, so they can both go into Bounty Hunter, so they get a nice little output bar.
Let's just not put them in the correct spot. But okay, that's how that works. Cool.
Welcome to War Scroll Builder. It never quite works the way you'd hope.
Molten Inferno, Runic Firewall. Like, this is a solid Fire Slayer list. This is what I sort of expect to see. Auric Hearthguard, really good at clearing out chaff to make sure your Magma Drops can get into where they love. And 10 Hearthguard Berserkers are a solid unit. Broadaxe is definitely sort of the way I like going with my Fire Slayers nowadays.
Yeah. And the invocations are great too. That, you know, there's not a lot of priests kicking around in the game at the moment. There's only a few armies that can field them or import them in. So once they're on the table, they're going to stay for.
And there's only a few armies that actively use their priests as much anymore as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that, you know, once it's out, it's just a nice lump in the middle of your castle again, doing mortal wounds over and over, which I've experienced a few times.
Yeah. Daniel B with Lumineth and Zytrek. So Zytrek, if I remember, is this the double cast list? No.
From memory, this is, I have to look. I think they pick up a second spell.
The hero. The heroes pick up a second spell, not the troops.
And then I think the thing that's really interesting though is the general's second unbind per phase can be rerolled. Whoever's picked up, which is interesting. It means your opponent has to really think about that first cast versus that second. Just a little bit more control from the whole list, and you know.
Yeah. It's got. I mean, the Cathalar's got the spell everyone hates in Total Eclipse, and we've got Protection of Haish in there as well. No Teclis in the list, though. A Light of Eltharion makes me happy. Like, he is so cool, and people need to watch out. He can be pretty deadly if he rolls hot.
And you know, we can't skip over Lord of the Seventh Wind either. You know, a fox that's going to move in both shooting phases. That's going to cause all matter of trouble all over the board.
Enjoy it while you can. It's not happening in the new book, buddy.
And of course, there's 30 Sentinels, which while they'll be on the new battle scroll, are still going to do a lot of work for this list as well.
Probably worth noting that you've made use of, because all the war scrolls in the book, in the box set, were out. So both, I don't think we had any Zinch armies anyway, but the Lumineth are using the updated war scrolls alongside the book. Bounty Hunters, got Dawn Riders and Bounty Hunters. Yep, what you expect. And then all your troops in the
Battle Reg.
Oh no, they're in a battle regiment. So cool. So yeah, lowering his drops there, and command entourage in there for that second artifact.
Very nice.
Dylan, Blood Gullet, no place for the weak. Double Butcher, exactly what you expect to see in this. It's a sub-faction that gives you some extra sort of magic, so you get a second spell. Kragnos leading the army out is really, really cool. That dude can pack an absolute punch.
And not then only backed by a Frost Lord, which decent output off the Frost Lord. I think the special bit here though is that command trait for nice drop of the red stuff, which is buffing the pile in army wide, right? Within, I think it's 12 or 18 of the general. So that'll be something to watch.
Really cool spell pick though here is Levitate. I really love Levitate in Ogres because I don't have a lot of fly. This is really cool on something like Kragnos or the Frost Lord, being able to give them fly. Yeah,
it'll just open up the board for him. I mean, Kragnos has got the distance too. So the minute he's flying, he's not having to skip over a fence halfway down the field and slow him up.
Yeah. So unit-wise, we've got 3 units of 2 Mournfang, Culling Clubs and Iron Fists. So cool. Then we've got launch on the Soul Seeker. So this is interesting because that can teleport one of the wizards around the table. An Umbral Spell Portal, that'll be there. So I get why he's got these two. So you got Launch On's going to be moving one of the wizards around the table, and then Spell Portal is going to be extending the range of the other wizard. Would be, I guess, the logic behind it. I would think.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Laoshon is in there for a late game shift. Pick up an objective somewhere in the middle. Yeah, and the Spell Portal's just they're going to sit around their Moor Pot for the plot. I'm pretty sure it gives a plus. Maybe not.
Spell Portal, allows you rerolls, I think. I can't remember. I haven't used it.
I'm thinking of the Moor Pot off the top of my head.
Oh, the Moor Pot? Yeah, Moor Pot is Arcane Terrain.
Yeah, there you go. So they're getting a plus off that. So they just want the range out of the Spell Portal for something that they can get off.
Yeah. But this is a really cool ogre list. I think this is one of the better ogre lists I've seen. I really like the choice of endless spells in this. Are really, really nice.
And
really gives those two butchers some good, solid utility on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this ends up being 2 drops because of the 2 behemoths too. So, it's in a good position for the inevitable alpha that it's running, trying to get in your face early.
Ethan Armstrong, first of our 2 Sylvaneth armies. Now he's playing Nullroot, the Dwindling. So this is the one. Ooh, there's some spicy stuff in this. So first of all, Warsong Revenant, Spellsinger, Dwellers Below, and we don't have what I expected to see with that. We don't have a Umbral Spell Portal in there as well. So he's not doing the Spell Bomb, or at least the big Spell Bomb.
No, I think he's playing somewhere in the middle. This is one of the local guys, and he's been testing it for a while now.
I think Spellsinger lets him cast out of trees.
I think that does. So I think that's how he's getting around the spell portals, and then he's got so he can spell bomb and then drop the Colonel Hunters on you through some trees early as well.
Yeah. I thought we'll just come on. Yeah, it is the one that's through trees. Tree Lord Ancient with Tree Song. He's a really survivable hero. Like, he's not terrible. And then a Arch Revenant as well with the Arcane Tome, and Verdurous Harmony as well. I guess nothing really surprised me too much in his troop selection other than the allies he's brought in.
I think they're just there to add some range from memory. Like they're doing a little bit of support hero sniping from a distance.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He's got to be really careful playing with his own trees and all that sort of stuff with them, because like Sylvaneth, they actually care.
Yeah, that's true.
Horrorgust is such a good endless spell. Fantastic pick in my mind. With the fact that you can only use 1 Inspiring Presence a turn now. Really good pick.
And great with that spell bomb as well, right? Because he's going to be again, if you castle up and then that pops through on you, which again can get cast through trees, so he's got that value as well. Yeah,
I love the Horrorgust. I used it with a Hello Heart list I was running for pretty much a very similar effect. I would do the Hello Heart's big bomb area spell and then throw a Horrorgust at him as well. Yeah, the fact it turns off Inspiring Presences, which leaves, your opponent having to use them elsewhere. It's really, really cool. Nice Sylvaneth list there, Ethan. Felix Hingston, Soulblight Gravelords, our 2nd Castellar army. Once again, Prince Vordry makes it in. This one, though, we've got Manfred, who is just so annoying to play. So annoying.
Look, and the like, it's not just Manfred in this list. So, like, this is the list of big hitty things that it's like super friends, because they've all got overlapping buffs that are going to wind each other up.
Yeah, so I played one of these armies, not like something, I guess, somewhat similar on the channel not too long ago. It's just a buff that overlaps with other buff that overlaps. The only thing sort of missing from the buff overlaps in this is having Neferata.
Yeah.
But then he's got a Terrorgeist here, which is cool. Just which is, a nice distraction piece, because you can't leave that thing alone. Like, if that just gets its, free run of where it wants to go, it's going to eat things.
Yeah, look, I imagine I don't know how it's going to play on the field, but I imagine there'll be a group of 3 and a Terrorgeist wandering off to do its own thing. But that means you've still got at least 2 headaches to deal with, plus some Blood Knights that are off playing their own game, right? Yeah,
I don't think he's sort of overcommitted in any single unit. Like, all of these deal damage, but he's not gone like 30 zombies and overcommitted to them. I don't mind this list at all. He's not overcommitted in anything here. It doesn't. Von Carstein is the general. He's got, it doesn't matter who his general is, because he's got no one that can actually take the command trait or the artifacts. So, bounty hunters as well, all 3 units. 20 zombies is an interesting bounty hunter, because they're going to be great at completing that battle tactic of Galatian Veteran on Galatian Veteran.
Yeah, and they might end up getting bigger off that too. So now you're just increasing the output of your zombies over time.
Yeah. Solid list. I really like it. 7 drops, high drop. Yeah, he's at that point of I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Frederick B, Allegiance Skaven. With Archcorruptors and Lord of Realms, I'm guessing we're going to see some Warlocks here. So first of all, we have Thanquol with Bone Ripper, 4 Warp Fire projectors. Ooh, so he's not quite gone. He's not gone for the 2-2 here. He's gone all shooting all the time.
And that's playing for the. I think that's playing for either burning a unit, bouncing across the field. Has he got the teleport in? So he might pop through a gnaw hole if he can, because it doesn't look like anyone's taken Skid Leap.
No, it doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah, so it might pop through a gnaw hole, or it'll be someone charging, and he'll get warp fire throwers over the top of some clan rats, and there'll be nothing.
Yeah, he really doesn't want to verse something like a Cronspine though, where the Cronspine just walks up to it and just goes, haha, 3. Or just goes one level.
That would be upsetting for everyone involved, I think. Though there's some interesting stuff in here with the plague priests that'll help buff up the rest of the army as well. So it's got
what's cool is he's got the 3 in there as well, so he does get the hero benefit for the Skaven as well for them. He's got 3 of them. Bunch of clan rats. 20 plague monks is nice. That's cool. And then 6 storm fiends, wind launchers, rattling cannons, and doomflag gauntlets. So they're not coming up from underground. They'll be trudging along the table.
Yeah, probably screened out by the clan rats, and they'll just do their work from.
What a choice of end spells! The vortex and purple sun.
And he's pretty much guaranteed getting them out, right? So Thanquol's like at +3 or 4 to cast from memory.
Yeah,
he packs a 3, and then he gets one off the gnaw holes.
Yeah, this is great. I've been playing, we've got a member in our local area, Wayne, who's been running Skaven, and he won the Bendigo event not too long ago with a list not too dissimilar.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is a good Skaven list. It's going to hurt.
Again, one of the local guys, and I'm really keen to see how this one goes. I'm quietly hoping this one goes quite far. I think it's got some legs on it.
I think there's a couple of lists it probably doesn't want to play. Because there's things that can definitely stop Thanquol. He puts out a ton, but as soon he doesn't want to play anything with too much chaff, and he doesn't want to play anything that could lift Thanquol off really easy or just reduce that damage.
Yeah.
I have no idea how.
Can I say that? Gwilym Vanderbosch. This is another local. We have to deal with.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you know how to pronounce it, because I'm just like, what? I had no idea on that one.
No, not a problem. And technically our current Tassie master as well, based on our 1 log tournament. So this is the man to beat, folks.
Alrighty. So he's playing Iron Jaws with Bloodtooths, inspired what you expect. Revenant, no one brought Sons of Behemoth to the tourney. Megaboss on Maw Crusher with Destroyer, Fast Doing, Mighty Wire Leader. That's not. Is this the one where we get the extra Mighty Destroyers in this? Destroyer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm pretty sure Bloodtooth gets the extra once per game extra move in a hero phase, so they could effectively move 3 times in a turn from memory.
Yeah, that's the one. So Megaboss War Chances here. Get them beat. 6 Gore Grunters with the Jagged Gore Haggers. 2 lots of Ard Boys going to be sitting at the back of the field. 5 Brutes is a nice choice. Brutes are really good. Highly rate Brutes now with their fact that they can turn off other Galatian veterans' ability to score.
That'll be great. That'll deal with some of the expert conqueror lists really nicely.
Yeah, and then Rogue Idol, fantastic dude. You brought a Rogue Idol. Awesome stuff. That thing can pack a decent punch.
Yeah, definitely. And a 1-drop too, it looks like. Everything's...
Yeah, 1-drop. Yeah, everything should fit in a 1-drop. Because, that's your behemoth from the battalion, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oryx wanting to be a 1-drop, it's pretty much what you expect.
Yeah.
Jason W. with Soulblight Graveloss. So this is the 3rd and last. I guess, looking at this is somewhat a bit of a mix of the heroes of the previous 2. And so he's got the Vengorian and Vordrak and Manfred this time. Vengorian does allow him to take things like Fragment of the Keep and Rousing Commander, which are both really cool. Battle line wise, 2 units of 10 Direwolves, 2 units of 5 Blood Knights, and Vargeists, who are really nice. They can deep strike effectively.
Yeah, and they've got the damage to I think they've got some scope for popping up and taking out some backfield support heroes or something that's just holding onto that tail objective, right? Which is
Oh, I should have said that is 5 Black Knights and 5 Blood Knights. Sorry, I read that as the same. So the Blood Knights are going with the 2 Vargeists, which are going to be in the Bounty Hunters. Cool. Those Vargeists in Bounty Hunters will definitely go in and remove some units. Battle Regiment for the rest of the army, so should be 6 drops. Cool. Because he's got the double monster, he can't fit one in.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a mix in the heroes, but then it's its own thing down here. Black Knights, I really like them for 100 points. They're solid, objective grabbers, able to move the downfield.
Very nice.
We go into a second Iron Jaws list with Jesse Mayer. And so a Godrak and a Mega Boss and War Crusher. So double War Crusher coming at you hard.
And then you've got the Weird Nod Shaman there. So you've got your teleport and your stomp. So just good output coming out of the Shaman as well.
That Shaman, Foot of Gork, if it goes off, can be absolutely smashing. Minun, Basham Lads, Arcane Tome, Hulk and Brute. Basham Lads is a spell. Hulk and Brute for the command trait. Yeah, this is going to be, those 2 more crushes are going to punch. And yes, we see 10 brutes in a unit. An absolute solid choice there, mate.
That's going to take a lot to take off, right? You've already got the headache of the double crusher, and then you've still got to deal with the brutes. It's just
it's the fact you've got to deal with them, because otherwise they're just going to turn off your Galatian veterans.
Yep.
And they're in bounty hunters as well.
Just to be sure that they get rid of you. Yeah.
Yeah. If they hit what they want first, they're going to be great. Additional enhancement with spell. Cool.
I think it's for the double spell on the Shaman.
Right? He would get a second spell on the Mega Boss and War Crusher, because Arcane Tome turns him into a wizard, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, it does.
So he would.
I'd have to look at the wording.
Yeah, have to look at the wording, but I think he may get a second spell.
All right, cool.
Note for later, but that's a fun Iron Jaws list. Double Maw Crusher. This guy's going in hard at people. He has 7 drops though, but I guess that's why he's got all the Ard boys here though, like they should be.
That'll be for screening. That's the only way. If he goes against another, because this is almost an alpha list, but it seems like an alpha list that wants you to come forward first.
Yeah, beta strike.
Yeah,
sort of hits you after you come into the Eye Boys. He doesn't care, and then 2 more crushes and a bunch of brutes come in and smash your face.
Yeah, exactly.
As Admiral Akbar would say, it's a trap.
But it's a trap you have to walk into.
Yeah, if he sets up looking like he wants you to come towards him, it's a trap.
Yeah. Oh
dear. Justin Clark with Khorne.
I really like this list. This is like the best of weird Khorne mortal demon lists that you can do, right?
Awesome. I don't get to play enough Khorne. I got one mate who runs them, but he only runs them half the time. The other time I play his Gits. So yeah, poor dude. Gore-Tired, Scarbrand. If you go watch the last battle report we did on the channel, you'll know how I feel about Scarbrand. So Slaughter Priest with Throne Bearer's Talk and Blood Sacrifice. Throne Bearer's Talk, I'm guessing, is the artifact you have to take because they're still an old.
Yeah, so he's just ignoring Rend.
Yeah. Warecaster completely says, it's his mistake. He thought only one wizard. If you choose the spell or prayer enhancement, everyone gets to pick a second one. Bloodstoker, Blood Secretor, Scar Bloodwrath, Blood Secretor, solid. Then what is this? 20 Blood Warriors. What is this?
So I think the whole list might revolve around the 20 Blood Warriors, right? So the double Secretor, you're getting 1 extra attack. The Bloodstoker is going to make a move fast. So they're basically going to ping across the board turn 1 and be right in your face, and then just try and hit you really hard. So
it's not the best thing I liked about this list, though. It's right down here, the 3 Murder Chickens, 3 Cockatrices. These things are awesome.
Yeah, and counting his monsters, so 5 models on objectives is a really nice way to pick up late game objectives as well. That'd be good.
Yeah, and he's got a bounty hunters in there. The Wrathmongers and the Blood Warriors are in bounty. I would have. Oh no, Battle Regiment. He's a double Battle Regiment. Hex Gorger Skulls, pretty good. Like, especially there are quite a few spell heavy armies we've seen already. So a good solid pick, I think, for 2 drops.
Oh, and I think the other interesting thing is it looks like he's gearing himself to try and turn Blood Tith really early. So
yeah,
like with Garrick's Reavers in there. So I think he's trying to cook them himself with Blood Sacrifice and get 2 points up and then start auto-popping spells before your opponent gets in.
Yeah, without a doubt. So we go on to Kane Beverage. We've got Stormcast Eternal, Hallowed Knights. And then, cool. I'm going to say if you're playing Hallowed Knights and you don't have Gardas, you can resubmit your army list. Do it wrong. Only the faithful here. So Gardas, Analord Relicted with Master of Magic, Arcane Tome, Celestial Blades, and then Translocation. So he's a wizard and a priest, which is awesome. 3 units of 5 Liberators, and then 2 units of 4 Stormdrake Guard. Ugh, you horrible person.
That's a lot of fire. That's an awful lot of fire.
Holy Command, call for aid, so he gets to bring back one of these Liberator units. So he's actually got 4. So long as a Lord is still alive, and because they're both Lords here, they are 18-inch range on that call for aid, which is really nice.
Yeah. And it all looks like a 1-drop too from it's all battle regiment. So
5 units, 2 heroes, 1-drop. Exactly what you expect to be. Yeah. There's going to be some lists. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to. It'll hit really hard, but it might bounce off the some of the large lists or some of the it might not get through some of the bigger screens potentially too, depending on the base.
Like those dragons can be swingy. I've seen them fluff.
Still think it'll do really well though. Dragons on the field is always good fun to see, right? It's almost harks back to High Elves days. So.
Yeah. So Lester Ray, Bastion's best Bastion. Okay. So Hammers of Sigma, Lord Commander Bastion Carlos, or Lord Commander Chadwick. We've got a Knight Incantor, a really, really good pick, especially with all the spell domination we're going to see. The fact being able to auto dispel and get a free turn on the battlefield could be really, really important. I've started taking one in my Stormcast list again now, just because that extra turn of not having to suffer something like a Purple Sun coming out, and then even if they fail the Purple Sun turn 1, and then you can stop at turn 2. Really, really solid pick. Lord Relictor again, they're too good. Master of Magic, Arcane Tome. Thundershock is a nice spell. I like it. That's the -1 to wound, because I think Starfall is the can't violin. I think that's the -1 to wound. And Translocation again for the prayer. Teleport. Yeah. On top of the fact he already has a heal and damage prayer.
Well, and I think the hint there is the damage, right? Like just in those leaders alone, there's a lot of mortal wound output, like Bastion special. Take the last off your hero stuff, or whatever your threat piece is. It could already be charted before you get to combat. So it's a really nice.
Yeah. And so unit-wise, some good choices. 10 Pestors are really, really nice. 10 Projectors. I am a massive fan of Paladins. My Stormcast go-to list at the moment is Knights Excelsior. Paladins absolutely hammer. 4 Star Soul Maces. Does he have? Yes, he has Unleash Thy Hatred. Good. So those who don't know, Star Soul Maces do actually have an attack profile now, and they get 1. Use Unleash Thy Hatred on them, and they get 2 attacks per Star Soul Maces, so that is 8d3 mortal wounds coming out of that Protector unit once per game.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's just and
that's before they have 5 attacks each at 3s and 3s for the other 6 of them.
Yeah. That's too much.
6 attacks. 6 attacks when you use Unleash Thy Hatred. They will punch out something like 70 damage.
Which is great when you've got to get rid of something, but
yeah.
At least they're only doing it once, right?
yeah. So only get that once. It is a holy command, but just be careful. They're also a base 2-up save as well. So that is 30 wounds on a 2-up save standard.
Yep. I think that's the hit piece of the list. But, the defenses give, a bit of maneuverability and edge play as well. So
yep, Liberators are solid. He's also got call for aid. He's gone the double battalion. His expert conquerors are his Liberators. And then, oh my God. Oh, I thought he put Protectors in the Bounty Hunters, but he didn't. Protectors are in his Warlord battalion here. So 2 units of Dracothian, got the Tempestors in Bounty Hunters is nice as well, and a Chariot in Bounty Hunters as well, because why not?
Just to roll.
This is a solid Stormcast list. I really like, not to mention they're in hammers, so there's going to be ward saves around objectives as well on all of that as well.
Yeah.
Lucy Moore, so another army. Lucy's just gone, I don't want to come play now. These lists are scary. Well, we're going to get onto your list, Lucy. So
Lucy's list is scary. Like this list is great. It looks like it'll churn out enough big wild points turn 1 to be adding to run and charge straight away. So
yeah, big wild, cool. Yeah, you've got everything you sort of want in here, really. Wargog Prophet. I mean, the Wargog Prophet's in here for one, and that's memes. I want a list of what your Wargog Prophet takes off the table at the end of the tournament, please. I still remember it's not the Wargog, but the Ogre Butcher has the same sort of like spell that it can do where, it continuously rolls. I remember I was winning against my mate at an event and like I had my dragon in his backfield, black dragon backfield, and then he start to finish killed my black dragon with that spell. It's the same. It's exactly the same mechanic as the Wargog. It's awesome. Nice. Swamp Cooler Shaman is nice with Nasty Hex as well, is a really good shout. Skilled Leader for some extra command points as well. Looking at the troops, solid troops. 2 lots of Gore Grunters, Ard Boys there for your good lot of objective control. Manskewer Bolt Boys providing some nice range as well. Warlord Expert Conquerors, so that obviously Ard Boys in there, and then Bounty Hunters with one of the Manskewer Bolt Boys in there, which isn't actually a bad shout. Because they still do the mortal wounds in their melee attacks, and they get, because they do the equivalent of the damage, they do get all the mortal wounds. So these guys actually in combat can pack out a surprising amount of mortals.
Yeah, and the big thing for me on this is it just looks like it's geared to pick off all your support heroes really early, and then your Wargog's just taking off your god, right? So goodbye Kragnos or something like that really early on. So like that's not a bad thing. Like they will do way more damage in melee than you think they will. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a nice big wild list. Good list, Lucy. I like it. All right, here's mine, everyone. I'm a horrible person.
Now, look, how do we beat your list? The excruciating detail, please. We'd really like that.
We'll just skip this list. So I am playing Daughters of Cain. I'm playing Hagnar. Standard sort of stuff means all my blood table, I get the bonuses a turn early. So turn 1, I'm already +1 to run and charge. I get +1 to hit turn 2, +1 to wound turn 3. Marathi, I've got a extra spell on my list. So she's got Mind Razor and Shrouded Despair. A Shadow Queen. Warecaster, you say that, but you need to look at the rest of my list first of all. Because it's not quite that simple. High Gladiatrix just turns on, and so battle line, I've got 3 units of Witch Elves, a unit of 20 with Sacrificial Knives. There'll be a Bounty Hunter and 2 units of 10 with Blade Bucklers as Expert Conquerors. I've then got a unit of 10 Doomfire Warlocks, which are really solid. They can get turned on quite a bit because they're in Bounty Hunters. The fact they've got like 4 attacks per model, like it really does come up. Levitate is in there so they can fly. Flaming Weapon on them. It's not really the most important, but it's the best secondary spell they could take. It's if the unit gets reduced down. Flaming Weapon on the champion is actually pretty good, considering he has 3 attacks base. So he's all of a sudden turning, it's actually not bad. He all of a sudden has 3 attacks at damage 3 for the champion.
And their War Scroll spell's quite good too, isn't it? It's a mortal wound.
Yeah, so while they're at 10 models, it's just flat 6 mortals.
Just, he says, folks, just.
And then this is the big thing. I've got the Kronspine as well. So that's why you can't just deal with Morathi, because you've got both of them to try and deal with.
Oh, this is two not auto killing monsters is a really hard challenge you've set for your opponents. Honestly,
yeah. Really and then like not only that, but you've got two units that absolutely hit. Those Witch Elves and Doomfire Warlocks can do some really serious damage. But wait, that's not all. I got the Purple Sun. That's not all. I put the Purple Sun in there just for giggles as well.
I'd just like to congratulate Luke on his tournament win. I'll just say it now, apparently.
Oh, I'm going to lose every game and my list is going to perform terribly.
This will be really good fun to watch, honestly. I like seeing the gods on the board, and you've got a lot supporting it. That means that the god, you can't just worry about the god, right? That's the big thing here.
Yeah, and that's the idea, because normally like Morathi gets picked off by turn 2 because you put like the thing. The idea is I've got 2 of them, so you can't possibly, you're either going to split fire, and if you split fire, you've got the chance that you don't take both down.
Yep.
But then if you're spending all your time in those early turns taking down the Kronspine and Morathi, the Warlocks and the 20 Witch Elves will just charge into you and deal damage. Like, you can't leave those 2 units alone. There are 4 massive hammers.
Let's not forget you can also feed the Kronspine your own endless spell if you feel like it as well.
Correct. Can totally do that. And then there's a Purple Sun totting around.
Well done. I like it.
Someone's like, new plan, shank him in the parking lot before the event. And then, so Bounty Hunters, Expert Conquerors, as mentioned, and Command Entourage is where I get my second spell from.
Yeah, nice.
It does say I'm 84 wounds, though that doesn't include the wounds that sort of count for the Kronspine, so it's not quite as, I guess, simple wound-wise as it seems with that.
No, you're more floating in the 100 to 100.
And especially when you consider as well, Morathi can only be dealt 3 a turn. It's sort of, her wounds become a lot more meaningful.
Yeah, exactly. I've just seen it in the chat. It's quick, everybody panic. It's a competitive list. It's all right. We'll just ban him day 1, folks.
Look, I've had my Morathi since Daughters of Cain came out, and I'm only just painting her now, so...
well, at least you'll get it done now.
Yeah. So now we're on to brighter subjects. I said that. We're going into Sylvaneth. Nope. It would have been nice to go into like an ogre list or, some Gloomspite after that.
Palette cleanser, right? Yeah, not teleport shenanigans. Yeah.
Matthew Gardiner. Sylvaneth, they're dwindling again. Heartwood, I'm guessing he's 2,000 points on the nose. Lady of Vines with Regrowth in there. Arch Revenant with Warsinger, Arcane Tome, and Levitate. Really, really good choice on Levitate. Once again, I think Levitate is such an underused spell. Like the ability to give fly to units that don't have it is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
The Vespral Gem on Verdurous Harmony on a Branch Witch is nice. But for me, he's got a good selection of troops.
Yeah, the 9 Kurnoths scare me, if I'm honest. That's a lot of output that's going to shift around, let alone whatever's coming out of the archers, right?
But yeah, he's got like 2 really heavy units there. He's got a good unit of Revenant Seekers. The Gossamed Archers are a really nice harassment unit. They can fluff really badly because obviously they actually need to roll 6s to do the mortals. But if they roll hot, they can take off, they can actually do some serious damage to units. Tree Revs are just a staple, like really good board control. So, Bounty Hunters. Okay.
The big unit of 6 makes sense.
Yeah, but also the Tree Revs. He's not put both Kurnoth units in Bounty Hunters, which I would have thought.
Look, that might be just for trying to pick up something that's not, again, something that's holding that back objective, right? With that inbuilt teleport, you maybe want that little bit of extra damage out of it.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, he's probably gone for that, and also that particular battle tactic you can do.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a solid Sylvaneth list. You've got a lot of different tools in here.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I always find with Sylvaneth, every time I write Sylvaneth lists, you struggle to like fit everything you want in there.
Well, that's probably a good thing, right? It's better that you don't get it all in.
Yeah, you do have to pick and choose your tools. So on to Smorgan. Love you, Smorgan. Tough crowd. Slaves to Darkness. Idolaters. He's got the chariot list. This is so awesome.
I love this list. This is like, it looks funny. It looks like a joke, and then you start picking it apart a bit, and it does a lot. It like has a lot going on in it as well.
Yeah, the Idolater Lord is no joke. He's got Curse on there as well. He's got Heal with a War Shrine. There's a lot to this. And then, so we get into his units, which is where you really see it. 5 chariots. These things actually hit.
Yeah.
Dark Earth Savages are really solid as well. Are they in? They are in Bounty Hunters as well. Awesome. They're the new sort of warbands that do mortal wounds. Blissbarb Archers as well as a nice, cool allied unit.
Yeah.
And a Purple Sun, because why not?
Yeah, and look, like he's got. I think the Blissbarbs are a nice, like it's something like 66 shots out of 22. Well, it's a huge number. And then you've got, potentially he's doing that into a unit that's been cursed, and he can do curse twice. So he's spreading that around really nicely. And this will be across the table in your face really quick, and then Purple Sun will just ruin your day on top of it. Up that round.
Yeah, now this is
I think the Purple Sun is
really
rand, actually.
Smorgan is a good player. Now, see, this is the difference. I brought a good list, but I'm a terrible player. As they say, I have a YouTube channel. Those who can't play teach. Smorgan, on the other hand, has bought a good list and is a really good player. This is going to be one of the guys to beat at the tournament.
Yeah, agree. I want to play it. I have no hope of beating it, but I think it'd be great.
I had the pleasure of playing Smorgan's Mixed Death bullshit last time, which was really cool. At SAGT a couple of years ago. He's so much fun to play. You'll have a great game if you play him. He'll absolutely tear you a new one, but you'll have a great game.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah. Kill you with kindness. So we go on to Samuel Rubisek.
I think you're on the money there. I can't say it. I found this one today. This isn't actually Mortis Praetorians too. It's a Petrifex Elite list.
Okay, so this is Petrifex Elite people, not Mortis Praetorians. Arcan the Black Mortarch of Sacrament, a Liege Cavalos with Helm of the Ordained, and a Mortician Soul Mason, Mighty Arcasian. Stupid words.
Something. Yeah.
Put less vowels in your words, and less consonants, less letters. Godbone Armor, Drain Vitality. This is cool, like pretty solid output of characters there. 6 Necropolis Stalkers. I'm going to say they're in a bounty. Yep, they are. They're in a Bounty Hunters. They will hit. 40 Mortek Guardian, Expert Conquerors as well, with a Gothar Harvester, and with the ability to have some good magical support behind them is a nice, solid core of troops.
They may never come off the table, honestly.
You're going to have to put so much into them. 5 Cavalos Death Riders, solid. Stalkers, they're really, really good. Bone Type Shrieker is a nice endless spell. I love that we're starting to see so many endless spells in the game. It was only 6 months ago we never saw them.
Yeah, look, that rewrite's really buffed them. I think the other nice thing here is that he's more than likely going to get the Shrieker out because there's a heroic action to have spells be unbindable that he's packing.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little aspect on top of this.
Yeah. I think you can do that with any wizard, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a relentless discipline point to do it. Oh, sorry, heroic action.
Scott Silby next. So this Scott actually grudged me, so this is what I'm going to be playing. Hi Scott, we're going to be good friends.
He's going to regret all his choices now, right?
Yeah, now that I've shown my list. He's got Archaon though, but unlike my things, Archaon can die in a turn.
Can Marathi get put in the sword? I can never remember. Can she get auto put in the sword?
No, because it's an instant kill.
Yeah.
So this is cool though. Chaos Lord, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Mask of Darkness for the spells, Master of Magic, Mark of Chaos Zinch, Aura of Chaos Zinch, so he's gone for a Zinch heavy list. 2 units of 3 Varangard, 2 units of 9 Untamed Beasts are really cool for early objective grabbing, because people need to remember too, you score at the top of one and your pre-game moves happen before the game. So if you actually can get these guys to move on to objectives, and you get pre-game moves that move on to objectives, they actually claim them auto, which is really cool. It can stop, yourself potentially getting hit with proving ground things and all that sort of stuff. Really does help, especially since he's got no Galatian veterans, I don't think. Or does he? No, because they're big troops.
No, the Untamed Beasts are GVs, yeah. So all of the cultists are, yeah. And I mean, it's nice to project your screens for it as well, because he's so light on everything else that pushing them further forward is give him some board presence.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting, any list with Archaon, it's requiring Archaon to do work.
Yeah, absolutely. Which he
Bounty
will.
Hunters, though. Bounty Hunters, the Varangard in there, as you would expect. And, all these cultists in Expert Conquerors. Oh, he's got Command Entourage Strategists. Ooh. So he's actually gone for the reroll.
I think that's the extra CP, actually.
Sorry, yeah, Strategist is a CP, yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's still, Archaon's got a few that he wants to get off fairly consistently, so he's obviously using that to get those out.
Yeah.
Very nice.
This one I love. Who knows I'm a massive fan. I love cool characters. I say that as I so Witch Hunter and Knights. Knights Excelsior, my favorite Storm host.
Can't tell if I'm losing Luke or Luke's losing me.
And so cool, I'm back. Hello.
There we go. Okay, good.
I actually think
I had no idea if you were going or I was.
I think I sent the early version of my list. I might have to resubmit that list. But give me a second. I'm going to try and sort it out.
Fair enough. I'll hold the fort, Luke.
Yeah. So if you want to go through Sean's list while I quickly lose myself.
Yeah, good. So yeah, look, Sean with the Witch Hunters and Knights here. You can sort of see Haskell Hexbane is hanging just off the bottom of the list, but also Durolia Vendanced. The Celestin Prime is a nice addition as well. There's a what is it? I've got it up on another screen here. There's 3 blocks of Annihilators and 5 blocks of Vindicators. There you go. Luke can scroll for me, so that makes life easier.
And Hexbane Hunters.
Which a surprisingly hitty, like Underworlds or Warcry Warbrand. I don't know where they've come from, but like 10 wounds or something like that, coming out of and decent output against demons. The list, I don't fully know what this list is going to do, but I find it really interesting. It's got this weird little synergy buff to take off demons and chaos and death based on the stuff that's in the Witch Hunters.
Yeah. No, really cool stuff. Yeah, someone pointed out, I'm pretty sure I sent you the wrong list because I had the wrong things. I've got to make my thing a wizard, so I'll send you the update. So can't
There's always someone, right? There's always someone. Yeah. It's all good.
But anyway, thank you for pointing that out. It's better to do it now than I forget which one I'm writing. Anyway, on to Sunny Rugari, Fire Slayers again. More Magma Dross, Flamekeeper in there, Battlesmith with the Nulcidian icon is really cool, and a Grimwrath Berserker, love it. Troops wise, we've got Hearthguard Berserkers, Volkite Berserkers, Sling Shields are way to go for me now. Warlord, Expert Conquerors, and Bounty Hunters there. All solid stuff.
And it's nice to see a Berserker come out. Like, there's a few lists that are, it's not a lot of them, but it's just making use of some of the faction abilities that otherwise get left behind. So it's really cool to add in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is a cool Fire Slayer list. It's got a lot of different things. And so we've got Steve Nuttall with Nighthaunt. So cool stuff for Nighthaunt.
On here.
Yeah, there is. So Scarlet Doom is making Bladegeist Revenants troops or Battle Line. We've got the Krulgast Crusader in there, Spirit Torments in there, Beacon of Nagashizar is really nice, allows him to bring back unit. Pretty sure that's the bring back one model once per game per every unit. Shade Mist, good spell on Reichner. We then have Bladegeist Revenants in Bounty Hunters, along with 5 Hexwraiths in Bounty Hunters. Dreadscythe Harridans, such a better unit when you're not having to take them in the army. Oh, Steve just won coolest army at Bathurst GT. Awesome. So this army I'm expecting to look absolutely amazing then.
I think he placed there too from memory. I think he got second or third or something as well. He's doing really well with pretty much this list. So it's really, it's got chops as well.
Awesome. Spirit Host in there to make sure you keep those smaller characters alive. Very important thing in your Nighthaunt list. Murmur and Banshees are nice as well.
That overlapping anti-spell. Yeah.
Yeah. 10 Chainrasp, solid little backfield objective holder for the army. Purple Sun.
Again.
Bounty Hunters, expected units in there. You guys become troops though in there. So the only thing they'll be really good. They just got to be careful where they're placed, not to get into other bounty hunters.
Yep.
Battle Regiment to lower his drops. Still 9 drops. I mean, well, if he's got a Battle Regiment in there and he's 9 drops, okay, so you might have actually had your 12 or maybe 15.
I think it would have been more like 15. Yeah.
But this is a solid Nighthaunt list. It's got all the different pieces in there. It's got some really good overlapping buffs. Solid. That's going to do really well. Nighthaunt are in a good place. Feck up next. Army is not particularly doing too well at the moment, but they always are an interesting prospect to face because they can just poop out damage like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And this is I think this one actually has got a little bit more stretch in it than usual, because it's given away in the names here. Someone's holding an Incarnate back, so it's giving it that little bit of extra spiky anvil, I think is the best way to describe it, right? So yeah.
So we've got the Abhorrent Archregent, Inferno Courtier, Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist, Gruesome Bite, Blood Feast there. Feast Day is really cool too. This allows him to do the pile-in twice, pile in for the second time for free once per turn. So he's not spending CP, so he's always getting that. 9 Crypt Flayers is cool. Really, really solid. They're going to be in Bounty Hunters. Yep. Exactly where you expect them to be.
And they'll bounce on from a board edge at some point and cause another headache.
I haven't played against 9 Crypt Flayers, but I do play against a mate who runs like big blocks of Crypt Horrors, and they can actually be quite a bit to deal with. The Kronspine Incarnate of Gur really does give a second piece and is going to maybe keep that Terrorgeist alive a little bit longer, just due to the fact it can, it's not going to be the sole target, I guess.
Yeah.
So solid Feck list. I mean, you're fighting an uphill battle with Feck just at the moment, and I think this is probably as good a Feck list as I've seen, really.
Yeah, and as you said, right, if he gets the right rolls, it'll spike and do really well. I think it'll be good fun.
Yeah, all of a sudden you roll like 4 6s on that Terrorgeist.
I think I want to see how the Kronspine buffs the whole list for him. It gives that little bit of a double threat piece, right?
Yeah,
that's the big.
Yeah, 3 drops, which is nice for Feck. You definitely want to be trying to go low. And so, Adam, is this your assistant TO?
Yes, it is. So both of our lists are sitting at the bottom here. So these have been out for a while. Adam's the assistant TO, and I think he's in the chat as well.
Yeah. Awesome. So Vikos Dynasty, what have we got? Vampire Lord, Belladama, Radikar, Kato, again, love it. Vengorian Lord, he's got the same spell on Kato, so I'm guessing that's exactly the same plan get Kato flying up the table into a nice position with his 14-inch move to do an Amaranthian Orb. Radikar the Beast in there is cool. Belladama as well. She's really good at buffing the army. Her and Radikar and the Vengorian Lord as well. Even the Vampire Lord, there's going to be so many overlapping buffs and abilities there for the army. And then we get to this. 20 Skellies, 20 Skellies, 10 Skellies, 10 Wolves. This is really cool. And then the Vrykos Bloodborne. I really like them. They are solid. I think a lot of people sleep on those units that are in from like Radikar's court. Some really solid pieces in there. Bloodborne are one of them. The Kasagi Night Guard are another really solid unit, I think, as well.
Well, the Bloodborne are all like Rend 1 D3 damage, but they're picking up all the buffs as well. So that, you know, for a small unit, they churn out quite a lot of damage, which is really cool.
They will get taken off pretty easily, but if they're getting taken off, it means other things aren't.
Yep.
Horrorghast and Purple Sun, good, solid pick. Revan, Vrykos Bloodborne are like the 3 feral vampires jumping over everything from Curse City. Expert Conquerors from the Skellies, solid, 60 models on objectives. Extra Artifact, 1965, so there's a good chance he's getting a Triumph, which I'm guessing he's gone Bloodthirsty. Ooh. Reroll. I mean, you don't need the other buffs for the army, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, 11 drops. I mean, but he's got the bodies here to provide some screens. 10 direwolves that screen out majority of his army.
Yeah, that's true. Really easy.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, I think we didn't go onto your list, would it be? So, Tio's list. He's brought the most dirtiest filth. He thought I brought filth. He's brought more filth.
It's filth, but it's more like a slot machine, if we're really honest.
Wrath of Khorne, Bloodthirster and Sensate Rage, Bloodthirster Unfettered Fury. I'll let you take us through your list.
Yeah, okay. So Reapers of Vengeance. So the key thing here is that Reapers of Vengeance lets a demon unit pile in and fight twice immediately. You couple that with the ability to pile in from 6 inches off the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, and then the Insensate Rage is doing 4 mortal wounds to every enemy unit within 8 inches on 6s to wound. So that's the list. Really, if we're realistic about the output, that's what it's hoping to explode. But then it's got a little bit of play with the Skull Reapers trying to, again, churn out more mortal wounds. The Wrath Axe churning out more mortal wounds. So it's just trying to take you off without you having to roll an armor save, basically. It's a nice and fun list to play for me, is my goal here. I don't have to think too long.
Someone's like, 3 Bloodthirsters is overkill. I'm like, no, that's not enough Bloodthirsters.
I'd have to buy more, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But that is all the list of everyone. I think we've got, 26-ish players or something like that?
27 at the moment. There's still tickets available, so if you think you can get down in time, they're still open. You just got to click through to the wait list on the Facebook event, and you can come down and join us.
Cool. Yeah, so get on it. It's still a couple of weeks away. That's plenty of time to earn some brownie points with your significant other.
Yeah, absolutely.
But lastly, so the Dice Guy, as said, is sponsoring the event. There'll be a code here where we can use. You can get yourself, 15% off until 15%. October 1st, until the start of the event. He's done a lovely thing here for giving us the code.
Yep. And, really appreciate all of our sponsors who have been able to contribute at this point. And I can't wait to show off all the stuff we've got over the tournament and play some awesome games. It'll be great.
Yeah, I can't wait to come down. So I guess if you want to pick any list, are there any sort of top lists you want to pick after we've gone through it all?
I really like the triple monster Soulblight list, the Manfred, Radiger, Vordry. Yeah. It's 4 monsters, right? That one, I don't know why it's tickled me. I think it'll do. It's one of those ones where if everything hits in one go, it'll do lots of damage. And I can't steer past the Skaven list as well. I think that one's just that. I really enjoy that list.
Yeah, I think the Skaven list is really good. That Feck list as well. I really like that Feck list. You got me there with that Feck list. That is such a cool list. Sound off in the comments. What's your favorite list? What are your picks? Smorgan is, well renowned as being a really good player, so you can't go past what that list will be able to do in someone of a good player's quality. I'm ready to go 1-4 maybe with my list, just to show how terrible I am at playing the game, or like overthink everything. But the Night Hunt list was really cool as well.
Yeah, it was. I was just going to say 1-4 would be like a record for me. So yeah, I can dream of wins like that. Yeah, look, I think it's a great spread. That's the other thing I wanted to mention about this stuff. There's no duplication of lists, which is really exciting. So that'll be good fun.
Yeah, even those like 3 Castello lists, like we said, like they all had a somewhat similar characters, but they all mixed it. The first 2, and then the third one was a mixture of the characters, but they all had different sort of meat to them in the troops, which was really cool.
Yeah, really was.
And so, yeah, like I said, I'm coming over to Hobart a couple of days early, so I'll be available for some games on Friday all day. Good Games Hobart have graciously allowed me to use their space as recording. So if you're able to get for a game on the Friday, or I'm not sure on their opening hours at the moment, but the Monday, I've got a couple of games booked already on the Monday, but I'm sure I might be able to squeeze some more in there. And also, if the Tuesday day, I leave Tuesday night, so it'll have to be, earlier in the day on Tuesday. I'll be keen for a game then. We can record up a game, get you on the channel. Other than that, there are, I guess, Saturday night, you've got a meet up for the event as well.
Yes, indeed. So we're after the games on that, we're going to our Preachers down on Knockwood Street, which is in Salamanca. So nice, relaxed burgers and beer place. So just hang out, talk through the day, and try not to let whatever mush my brain has turned into leak out of my ears is my plan at that point.
Awesome. Yeah. No, those sort of things are always great. There's anything happening the Friday night? I'm assuming like people want to meet anyone at the tournament, probably just head over to Thingy.
Yeah, look, I'll be there through probably the morning, afternoon setting up on Friday, but there's nothing planned at the moment. You're more than welcome to come in, stick your head in and say hello, and then we'll kick off on the Saturday morning.
Yeah. Dr. Goose, cool. Tuesday. Yep. Awesome. But yeah, I'll be great to sort of meet everyone. I'm really looking forward to getting down. If you see me, more than welcome to come over, say hello. I'd love to chat Warhammer with anyone. Love to meet everyone down there. Be fantastic. Hoping to get to more events across the country, which would be great. So if there are events that you've got coming up, definitely shoot them my way. If I can swing more brownie points past the wife after booking 3 GTs in the space of a month, I might try.
Just try running one. I burnt my brownie points way ago.
Yeah, I did that last year. That was our last year running one. Then I got her to cook food for 30 people. And
oh, bad idea.
But thank you everyone for coming and watching. This is going to be great. First major tournament for Hobart. I can't wait to see everyone down there. I hope everyone manages to get down all nice and fine. A last couple of things for me. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A little bit of the same as self-promotion. And as always, end of every video, thanks to everyone who supports the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. You make everything I do on the channel able to be done in a full-time manner. So thank you all for that. I'll see everyone at the event. Mitch, thank you for letting us be the ones to do the little show and for coming on and chatting Warhammer with me for way too long.
Thank you, Luke. I really appreciate it. It's been good fun.
So yeah, once again, thank you everyone for coming and watching. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now. I'll see you at the event.